Yeah, good to get our first rep in the pit. Lots to work on both sides of the ball, and we'll watch the film and figure out areas to address and go from there.
You talked with us yesterday about you could live with a lot of the shots from Saturday at Washington State, but there were better shots and low-hanging fruit, as you said, in the offense. It looked like there were a lot of shots still taken with a good 18 seconds on the shot clock and 16, 17 that maybe could have been extended to better shots. How did you feel on that specific, topic, them getting the best shots in the possession they could get tonight?
I thought we really struggled. I thought our shot selection, we regressed. I was hoping we'd take a step, but I thought we regressed in that area. We got a new group. Everybody's trying to play well and be aggressive, and we just gotta continue to work at understanding what shots we're looking for, which ones we want from each person, and how to create them for ourselves.
I'm curious if you saw any, I don't know if you've had enough time even with this group to know this, but they saw the shooting numbers on Saturday too. Were they pressing to kind of show everybody, don't worry, we can shoot better than that? And was that part of them maybe rushing shots?
I'd be surprised if that was kind of the factor. I think they all really want to play well, and there's a little bit of a choppiness to the game right now with the rotations that I don't think is helping. But there's some things that we need to do to get looks in that scenario. And then other ones we had some good looks that just didn't go. So I think there's probably a lot of factors in that, and I'm not sure exactly. But to me, the shot selection, some of the decision making is where we really need to grow.
Defensively, though, you guys did force 11 first half turnovers. Well, let me ask that. What changed at halftime that you weren't able to force as many? Was that just something they did, or was it something you guys defensively maybe took a step back on anything?
I thought they kept the ball in the middle of the floor a little more, but they were able to get middle on off the bounce a little bit more, which we were able to take away more in the first half. I have to watch the film to really see why we didn't create more turnovers. I felt like we had a couple opportunities and maybe we lost guys on the weak side or missed some rotations. But yeah, I have to look at the film to really see why we didn't quite get the disruption we were looking for in the second half.
So I know these last two exhibition games are more of a self-scout for yourself. So now that you're 2 games in with the season, less than a week away at this point, how comfortable are you with this group going into start the year?
I'm comfortable with the group. I mean, this is our group, and this is who we're going into the year with.
And then rebounding numbers. I mean, they were able to beat you in that. And what do you guys got to do to win on the glass and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we got to do a better job there when finishing plays. Physical in our blockouts. Everybody pursuing the ball, making sure we finish possessions.
Coach, we can talk all night about the guys trying to figure each other out, but you talked about the choppiness of the rotations. Is that you trying to figure out these guys and who plays well together?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I think that's something that we're trying to understand with a lot of new guys, and we have a lot of good players. And so really trying to understand how we can put guys in position to be successful and kind of get the best out of them. There's just a lot of moving parts to that we're still sorting out.
I suppose it's one thing in practice to know these guys, to watch them do that, but when it's a game situation, how much does it change from practice to a game?
Yeah, we see a lot of different looks. Not everybody plays the way that we play, and so that's another thing is with a group that, they've all played, a lot of them have played a lot of basketball, but we haven't played together, and we haven't, because we've just been practicing against each other, and I think I said this the other day, we feel like we're getting close to learning all we can learn in practice. And that's why these exhibitions are really valuable for us, because we're getting to see them in a variety of combinations against schemes and coverages that we don't see as much in different personnel. And so, I'd love for us to just kind of hit the ground running and be really sharp in our execution. But we're unfortunately we're not quite there yet, and we got some work to do.
I know it's not quite a San Diego State crowd or Boise State crowd, but it's your first game in the pit with fans in here. What's your takeaway from that?
Yeah, it was fun. I think everybody was excited about it, and to kind of finally get a taste of that and to feel the Lobo Nation a little bit was a lot of fun for all of us, and we're excited to build on it and can't wait to get started with the regular season.
Coach, you took a timeout. I think it was 9:40 in the first half. You kind of got into your guys a little bit. You could tell you were upset. What can you share with us as to what you saw and why you were upset?
Yeah, I just didn't think we were playing the way we needed to play.
Yep. You talked about them getting the ball in the middle of the floor. It seemed like they were going high-low a lot, really putting a point of emphasis to get the ball inside. How do you think you guys defended that?
Yeah, I thought we were fine on the high-low for the most part. They got a couple over the top, and when you switch a lot, like that's a play that teams will make or try. That's sort of like a kind of a counter, And I thought we won our share of those reps. I think they had at least one offensive foul, maybe another turnover. First half, we did a really good job of taking it away, and they put it on the floor a little bit from the top and created some advantage that way. We took that away in the second half, and then they were able to kind of throw it over the top. So we just got to find the balance there.
And it seemed like late in both halves, late in the first half and late in the second half, you guys went to a different defense. I don't know if it was a matchup zone, but what looks did you like out of that?
We were kind of mixing those in throughout the possession. When we executed well, I thought zone gave them some issues. Kept our bigger guys, around the rim a little more. So that's something we want to be able to, give different looks and show different things. But we were trying to mix that in throughout both halves relative to who we had on the floor.
Two individuals that I want to ask about. Dayton first. He did go over 5, but he also draws 6 fouls, has 4 steals. I imagine those kind of things are what you would expect more of, but he still isn't quite finishing at the rim. So I guess the good and the bad of Dayton tonight, what would you assess, or how would you assess his game tonight?
Yeah, I thought Dayton took a step with some of the decision making. I thought he had some really good plays where he drew multiple bodies in the paint with his rim pressure, and he was able to throw it out. We didn't always capitalize on those, but I thought for just Dayton specifically, he made more of the plays we want him to make. And then, also, he had a couple around the rim that I think he'll make pretty often.
And then Chol, obviously, it's 2 games, 2 exhibitions where he played pretty well, and tonight he was really on fire early, and you guys kept finding him, which is obviously part of a good offense, but he has to finish it too. Is that something, I guess Dayton said at Mountain West Media Day last week that there's nobody that has more confidence in Antonio Chol than Antonio Chol, and he played like that tonight. Have you seen a lot of that in the preseason so far from him, that confidence and the way he was playing early?
Yeah, he shoots the ball at a high level. He's got great length, good athlete, understands, who he is as a player. So, yeah, I've been really pleased with Antonio's 2 exhibition performances.
I kind of just, felt pretty good, before the game, got a lot of shots up, and I was just confident, I think that's a big factor.
You guys are a team that I think can shoot better than you have the first 2 exhibition games overall. What was it tonight that the shooting numbers still weren't there? You guys shot in the 30s again, and I think you can shoot better, but what was it tonight that they weren't falling?
I really couldn't say too much about that. They weren't falling, but we found another way to win. We got to the free throw line a lot. Obviously, we're going to continue to put in work, get extra shots up, all that. They'll continue to fall, so we're not really too worried about that.
And then defensively, you guys did force 11 first-half turnovers, scaled back a little bit in the second half. But you did force those 11 first-half turnovers. What is it about your defense that forces teams into making those mistakes?
I think our defense does a really good job of pressuring the ball and rotating off. So I think when they throw skip passes or things like that, we're there on the catch and we're ready to make the next play.
So I'm curious, you took 11 shots tonight. All of them were from beyond the arc, but you're one of the bigger guys on this team. So how much do you feel like your role is going to be one of those long ball shooters versus how much do you feel like you need to get more involved in the paint?
Some of the paint things weren't available. Sometimes I got fouled, as you've seen, going to the paint. And I think that, a lot of people are going to try to run me off the line, but the help is there early. So I'm just trying to make the simple play for my teammates.
And then I'm curious, I know you've been in this building for months now at this point, but this is your first true experience game-wise in the pit. What was your reaction to that?
The pit is amazing. When you hit a shot or we get a stop or we get a steal, you can hear the crowd roar when it's happening when you're on the court. So I love it.
Can you tell me what you were seeing out of NAU's defense that allowed you to perform at such a high level?
I think they just. I really wouldn't say their defense, but I mean, I kind of would. It was just a confidence thing. They probably didn't think I'd shoot it, with that much confidence, and I think my teammates did a great job of finding me.
A lot's been talked about from namely Geoff over here about your confidence level, and he said that no one's more confident in Antonio Chol than Antonio Chol is. How big of a part of your game is that, to walk on the floor knowing that you can do certain things?
I mean, I feel like when you put in X amount of hours, or you've been playing for this long, you can't really, what is the word I'm trying to look for? Stutter, hesitate. I put in all that work. Why would I not, have that much confidence? So that's how I view it. I've been in here shooting, so I'm familiar with the rims and everything. And my teammates, I think, they really helped me tonight.
When you're on the floor and other shots aren't falling from other people, do you feel maybe a certain responsibility to be more assertive when you get the ball to make things happen?
Not necessarily. Some people that take those shots they're still great shooters. Maybe their shots are not falling. When I have the opportunity to shoot, I'm going to shoot. If it's not there, I'll reverse it. So.
Okay.
Antonio, you took a hard hit at the end of the game. You went up for a block, went down hard. Are you doing all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just something I had to shake off. It definitely hurt a little, but it was a game. I was trying to think next. So.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
One more.
Dayton is a guy that drew a lot of fouls tonight. He did have steals. He disrupted. He was missing some more shots at the rim, though. Talk about Dayton's game and how he opens things up for you, even when he's not quite finishing at the rim like he can in practice.
Dayton's a very good, downhill player. So when he gets 2 feet in the paint, he's able to spray it out, and he's not the only one on the team, but he's pretty damn good at it. So when he does that, it gives us open looks on the perimeter. And when you knock those down, the shooters may, stay more solid on us shooters, and he could get to the paint and get to the foul line. So even when the shot's not falling, obviously you've seen he's making plays and getting steals.